Hi there, this is Datila, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First, to my right, he allegedly has no relation to our Impact World Champion, Steve Macklin. He's the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin. Burt.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Burt Macklin.
And on the related to Mac, I'm gonna, after that last match, I'm gonna let Macklin cool off a little bit. That was a brutal match, so let him cool off a little bit. Let him clean up a little bit. Clean up his wounds. You know what I mean?
Yo, did he bleed all over the couch when he got home?
There was a trail. Well, I followed the trail into the kitchen when he got home. There was a trail of blood, all the way to the refrigerator. He was hungry.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy. And to my left, he is the godfather of the power rankings. Lucha. All right, so much happened this week, you guys. We hope you had a happy Memorial Day weekend. But we had to go.
A wrestling day weekend because every fucking day of the weekend was wrestles.
Yeah, and it's still not over. Wrestling is still on. 2 full weeks of wrestling. What is this, WrestleMania week?
Bro, I think we're in a continuous loop now because we got Raw Monday, we got NXT Tuesday, Dynamite Wednesday, Impact Thursday, SmackDown Friday. Good God, we're not getting a break.
And then starting June 17th, Collision.
Gosh, that's what is that? Will that officially give us 7 days of wrestling?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, I guess technically Sunday. No one does a weekly show on Sunday. So, but when there's a pay-per-view on Sunday, then there will be weeks where there's 7 days of wrestling for sure.
And I will rejoice.
Yeah.
And even if there's not a main show wrestling, you could probably go to some bingo hall or indie event, and there's wrestling everywhere. You don't have to look far anymore. There's wrestling everywhere.
Yeah.
# support your local wrestling federation.
Mm-hmm. But because we had so much wrestling, we're not here to talk about Night of Champions or Double or Nothing. What we're here to talk about is Under Siege and the Go Home Show 2 Under Siege. So much happened. You know who I expect to see on this week's Power Rankings? Deanna Purrazzo, number 1. Steve Macklin. And, of course, Rich Swann, who homeboy got the win for his team. And on the Go Home Show. So he definitely earns a spot on this week's Power Rankings. What about you, Burt? Who do you expect to see on this week's Power Rankings?
Well, I don't expect to see Steven Seagal. Even though, whenever you say Under Siege, usually he'll pop out somewhere. But I hope the committee watched last week's show, saw how furious we were about Trey Miguel's positioning.
Not just Trey Miguel, but Deanna.
Yeah, let's get these champs. So hopefully order's been restored since, pay-per-views is usually when the champs put in their best work. Because, again, they don't need to be showing up on weekly shows. Let's keep them special. They're attractions. You know what I mean? They're showcases. You know what I mean? So I expect our champs to be somewhere near the top. Also, because as Lucha stated last week, the Machine Guns have figured it out. You come together, you get more points. So I expect to see them somewhere near the top.
I don't think that Machine Guns are the only ones who figured it out either.
Ooh, that's a tease. That's what we call a tease in the business.
In the biz.
All right. Well, Lucha, what about you? Who do you think made this week's Power Rankings?
Dixie Carter. No, Burt's like, what? No, I'm kind of with Burt. I want to see if the disrespect from last week gets corrected and see who gets disrespected again this week. Also, I'm interested to see if Subculture was able to make the bottom half of the ranks, the half that's kind of sort of, for lack of a better term, reserved for the losers. because a lot of the times the guys who come in like 10, 9, 8, 7, unless your name is Deonna Purrazzo and Trey Miguel and the committee hates you, a lot of the times the people who are there are guys who were on the losing side to matches against people who were higher up on the ranks. So I want to see if Subculture was able to, break through there, because their performance that they put on was damn good.
It was. I want to see them in Impact more.
Not
just them, but TMDK too.
I love me some bad dude Tito. You know what I mean?
Shout out to bad dude Tito.
When you have a name like Bad Tito, yeah. But yeah, again, I'm a tag team wrestling mark, so I would be fine with signing Subculture.
Same. I better not have to take off my Krog again, you guys. Better not.
Yo, that shit scared me.
I know. I scared myself too. I'm sorry you guys had to see me like that. I was just upset. Who the hell voted Deonna Purrazzo number 10?
Someone was living under a rock.
Yeah.
Must be living under a rock or something, man.
With that being said, let's play these power rankings. Number 10, PCO. Number 9, The Dead Dolls. Number 8, Callahan Swan Christ, OVE. Number 7, Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry. Number 6, Trinity. Number 5, Tag Team Champions ABC. Number 4, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Number 3, the Motor City Machine Guns. Number 2, World Champion Deonna Purrazzo. Number 1, World Champion Steve Macklin. Wow. Okay. The power rankings after a pay-per-view are always the most interesting. Let's number 4 and number 3. Number 3 being the Motor City Machine Guns, and number 4 being X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but didn't Trey Miguel beat Chris Sabin on Under Siege?
I mean, yeah.
I feel like this ties in because Alex Shelley won the number 1, so he's now the new number 1 contender. Not to mention, Chris Sabin was in a backstage segment with Trey Miguel. And at the end, the Motor City Machine Guns came out, and I feel like that kind of helped them edge themselves a little bit over Trey Miguel. But really? Okay.
Let me hit this one first, because I'm actually cool with the Motor City Machine Guns being over Trey Miguel. Like you said, Alex Shelley won the number 1 contenders match, so he's got that dub there. And yes, Trey Miguel beat Chris Sabin. Yes, I know. But if it wasn't for that damn can of green spray paint, we might very well be looking at a new X Division champion right now. We might be at 9-time. We might have 9-time madness happening. But the can of spray paint came into play, and, Trey Miguel got the dub, but it was not the strongest dub because
you're upsetting Burt. I hope you know that.
Burt will be all right. But it's just, I'm fine with it. It's the fact that happened and Shelley won the 6-way that kind of gave him a little more oomph. So I'm comfortable with Trey Miguel being under the Machine Guns.
What are you spray paint? What are you talking about? I didn't see anything.
It was as clear as day. Like he.
Again, I saw a top tier wrestler go out there and win clean.
That's what I sneezed during the match that happened.
That's what I saw. I saw maybe go gouge the eyes a little bit. I didn't see any spray paint. And let me just. I'm gonna give Trey Miguel what he needs to do. He needs to put the rascal signal into the sky. Put the rascal signal, and then he needs to do the Motor City Machine Guns formula. And that way he can start getting more points. Because
first of all, the signal thing is our gimmick, brother. We got the Burt signal. So
okay.
You better not do no rascal signal. Second of all, there is a rascal signal, and it's called a lit joint.
Well, and that's funny. That's I like how he uses green spray paint. Green joint.
So you're acknowledging the spray paint.
Oh, well, he didn't use it that match.
Got your ass.
He didn't use it that match. He's over. Let me just say, I do think that maybe this is also just the committee highlighting a little bit of, the X Division champ, the world champion is going to be the world champion. And Alex Shelley is the number one contender, and he did beat 5 of their dudes, and few of those guys are few legends, few ex-world champions. So I think that does carry a lot of weight. And then, like we said, the Machine Guns have come together. They're still a faction, a team, but they're wrestling separate. So as long as that happens, until they break up completely, we're going to vote them together. So, they're going to have a strong...
Power rankings are going to blow up when we have Saban versus Shelley.
Yes. But, Shelley's the next number one contender. I believe he gets the match in 2 weeks. And it wasn't like Saban got out there and got demolished. There was times in that match where he could have won. So if it wasn't for Trey being that much better, yeah, I said it, and doing what he does best, winning clean with that green.
He won about as clean as his piss. He won about as clean as his piss.
Okay, well, first of all, you know what I mean? Depending on what state he lives in, that doesn't even matter anymore. But, yeah, again, like we said, the Machine Guns have figured it out. They figured out the formula for rankings domination. So it's going to be hard to knock them out of the top 5 every week, especially if they both wrestle. You know what I mean? Trey's only one man, and the Machine Guns are 2. So, and 2 is more than 1.
That is true.
1 is the loneliest number.
2 could be as bad as 1, though.
Exactly. Yeah. It takes 2 to make a thing go right. Songs.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GoGo Power Rankings iHeartRadio segment.
Yeah, name that tune.
I lost my lighter. I found it.
It's okay. Alrighty.
Hey, real quick. Let me take the reins real quick because I'm pissed off.
You guys pissed off Lucha.
Who won the Coven versus the Death Dolls match at the Under Siege countdown?
The Death Dolls.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought the Coven won. But even still, where the fuck are they?
The Death Dolls are number 9.
No, not the Death Dolls. Death Dolls. Where's the Coven? Where's the ones who hold the gold? Where's the top of the company in the women's tag division? And where's their respect? Yeah, they lost. Titles weren't on the line. Like we did for Steve Macklin and Trey Miguel. They're having non-title contests. And yeah, they took the L because the match doesn't mean anything. There's no gold on the line. There's no bucks on the line. So what the hell? So just because the Death Dolls got this dub on a countdown, we're just going to leave the Coven completely off? Fuck out of here with that.
But wait a minute. Just like we said, 2's more than 1. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't the Coven taken 2 straight L's back-to-back weeks? Because then Kylan Clean lose to Trinity, and now they just lost again. That's 2 L's.
See, Burt, what you're not gonna do is come back at me with facts and make me think about this. You're right. I guess my bad.
But it wasn't a title match, though. So, and I'll agree with you on that, though. It wasn't like they lost. They are still the champs.
They just didn't make the ranking. All right, let's talk about number 7, our digital media, Joe Henry, who technically won his match, but he won by DQ because Dirty Dango chose to play dirty.
Dango.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
His name.
Living up to that name.
Yeah. He gave Joe Henry a low blow right in front of the referee.
So, Burt, do you have like heel goggles on? Like you can't see any treacherous acts that happen? Like you miss that part too conveniently?
Oh no. I saw that. I just choose to ignore everything that Trey Miguel does that is evil. I think that's just working harder when it's Trey Miguel. He's my favorite, so
favoritism.
Smoke something in Vegas. There's some type of special weed in Vegas or something that immunes Burt to all of this.
Burt smoking on that favoritism OG,
yeah.
that heel shit Kush,
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
I hate it.
So how, Lucha or Burt, whoever wants to start, how do you feel about Joe Henry being at number 7?
I actually think that him being number 7, I'm a little amazed because I think personally, not him as a wrestler, I think Joe Henry has been kind of out of the people's mind. They haven't really, before that, I don't remember his last title match. I think it was against Moose, I believe, or maybe Myers. But yeah, I think that him being at number 7 is actually fortunate, just because I think that's a pretty good place, just because that match we didn't really get a conclusion, and then it was a DQ. But yeah, number 7 I think is a perfect spot for him. It's not 10 or 9. So, and there's the people who are ahead of him, I think deserve to be higher than him. So I think number 7's the sweet spot.
Lucha?
I'm fine with him being at number 7. You want to know why I'm fine with him being at number 7?
Because you believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation?
That, and with him being at number 7, he's not at my house. So I can say his name all I want, and I don't have to worry about him busting through the door, being weird, trying to make up songs and shit. It's like, no, Joe, I'm busy. But no, it's what Burt said. He got the dub. It was by DQ, but it wasn't like, he was doing anything nefarious. He kept the strap, and everyone who's above him should be. The only thing I can probably argue is swapping him with number 8.
I was just thinking that.
Because at least number 8, they got their dub, pretty clean. There was no nefariousness involved. So if you want me to change anything, that would be my only suggestion. But with him being at 7, I ain't got no complaint.
I have to say, I do agree with you guys. I could see him switching with number 8 just because, like I mentioned at the beginning, Rich Swann won. He beat Angels on the Go Home show and then got the victory for his team here. But also, too, with Joe Henry, this is Joe Henry's first match back since Shilton Jean broke his nose. So where else could he logically be this week,
Not at my house.
Well, that we know. So, but also, since we're talking about number 8, let's get right into number 8 too. Callahan, Swan, and Christ. That's how you say Christ?
Mm-hmm.
Them being at number 8. So, like I said, Rich Swann got the victory here, and he got it on Thursday. How do you feel about them being at number 8? Like, I know you said that you could switch them with Joe Henry at number 7.
I like it. I like them being on. And to bring it full circle from my tease earlier, I was talking about people linking up for power ranking domination. This is exactly who I was talking about. Sammy know what's up. Rich knows what's up. Jake hasn't been around, so he's not familiar with, the importance of the power rankings, I would imagine. So, them hipping Jake and up the game is like, hey, Jake, come through. We got a problem. The design is kicking our ass, and we need to get on the power rankings and show some domination. You trying to pull up? And Jake was like, I'm with it. So I like it. I like that they're, like I said, I would have swapped them and Joe Hendry around. I don't have any complaints. Rich Swann is the MVP of this crew because of the double duty he basically pulled. So yeah, I want to see more of it. OVE, Ohio versus everyone on the top 10. Special guest starring Maryland.
Them being at number 8 is great. I think it's a perfect spot. Like you said, I would have put that number 7 over Joe Hendry. I would have swapped them. But real quick, I just want to kind of shine a light to the just 2 members of the losing team. First, I think Alan Angels really impressed me. I'd like to see maybe an X Division run in the future for him. Really impressed me. And second, I'm not comparing the two and saying what I love Big Joe. We miss Big Joe. But I think OVE, I think the design with Khan kind of reminds me of Shawn Michaels going from one great bodyguard in Kevin Nash to another great bodyguard in Sid. I think Kevin Nash was slightly above, but Sid was no slouch. And I think Big Con has proven himself. He looked like a monster in that match. And I think he's proven to be a comparable heavy for the design, just like Joe was. Again, love Big Joe. Miss Big Joe. No one is Big Joe. But they found a good replay. They found a good bridge. So yeah, and like I said, Angels really impressed me in that match. I think when he was in the ring, he really stood out.
Yeah, shout out to Big Joe. I love Joe because like he had the move where he hit you with the FU, the John Cena move.
Yeah.
And then he'll still keep contact with the arm, pick you up, and then lariat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I call that the FUCK because after he did it, I'm just always like, but I love how Khan pretty much had like that outer shell, you know what I'm saying? Like they were hitting Khan with everything and Khan's just sitting there just nothing and it just fucking takes out everybody. So you right on that one. Khan versus Big Joe 1-on-1. If Big Joe can make the comeback, I need that on my plate because Big Joe is proven if anyone can be like the king of the big man versus big man matches, Big Joe's done it.
And real quick, let me just say Impact doing what Impact does, taking two people that might not have been highly recognized in their previous locations, and when Impact brings them in, they elevate them to a whole level. It's on another level. I could go on with the list. It's too long. You know what I mean? But Impact just does that all the time. Drew Galloway.
Before we move on, though, I do have one question. So with Callahan, Swan, and Chris, they're calling it OVE. That's what it was put in on the Power Rankings thing. But can we call them MOVE? We call them Move. You get Maryland and Ohio versus everybody.
Oh, is that where Rich is?
Yeah, Rich is from Baltimore.
And let me just say too, real quick on Rich. That match, the fire that Rich showed, Rich looked like he was having fun. Again, I keep still thinking that I want Rich to have a Redemption World title run. I want Rich to get another run, and I think Rich deserves. I think in 2024, Rich should get another run. But yeah, no, Rich is looking back to that great form he was in a couple years ago.
Sorry, I'm just doing random Rich Swan dances.
So before we move on real quick, I just want to say, yeah, I was highly impressed by Angels. I've been impressed since he came into Impact. He's no longer just a number.
Shut the fuck up, 5.
What, is a 10 talking?
No, you remember from BTE being the elite, that was like Alan Angels. He was always the one to swing on in Dark Order, it seems. He was number 5. So every time he's saying some shit, it's either Brody Lee or everyone else. They're just like, shut the fuck up, 5.
I don't know if you were just referencing that, but were you was that a reference to Scar Bordeaux's promo? Because that's one of my favorite promos of all time. When she said, "Be quiet, 5 at 10 is talking," and when she said that she won't be hot shamed, that was a great promo. Thank you for referencing that promo. That was a great promo.
I was a 7, like a 7.5 at WrestleCade. I got an autograph from her, and I was like, "So what do you think I am?" And she's like, "I'll give you a 7.5." I'm like,
"No, that's good. Okay, all right."
You got a 7.5? That's awesome.
Yeah. It's that half that makes me feel good.
just when she's all like, when Alicia's all like, "You mean like Susan B. Anthony?" She's like, "Ugh, no, like Cardi B or Marilyn Monroe." I'm like, great line, dude. Like, what a great line.
Now we know Lucha is a 7.5.
Damn right.
And just real quick, yeah, Impact does a really good job building up their monsters, and Khan is no exception to that. They've done a really good job with Khan.
Give me Khan versus PCO.
Oh, yeah.
Good match.
You know, for someone who doesn't like PCO, me, I have a lot of dream matches with PCO just because I know how they'll go. It'll be a lot of calamity. and Carnage. And I know that at the end, PCO will put up a good enough performance to get them number 10.
Speaking of PCO being at number 10, PCO.
Wait, PCO's at number 10?
Yeah, PCO's at number 10.
Huh. I never figured it out.
Yeah, he's at number 10. One hell of a performance in the main event. He was hard to kill.
Hey, that was in January.
I know, but still,
he should have
was
been under
hard
siege.
to kill. But how can we forget that one spot where Steve Macklin stapled PCO's mouth shut and homie just pulled it open with pliers.
Dude, I thought that they worked that, that wasn't like real staples until like they went for the zoom in. I'm like, oh shit, no, that's really in his mouth. Whoa.
Yeah. So I feel like number 10. I mean, he did lose, but he lost in the main event. But he was just really, really like just PCO. He was how can I say it? He was just very PCO in this match. It was a typical PCO.
Look, at the end of the day, PCO is going to always be in the top 10 because he pays off like half the committee. So because he just always finds his way in the damn top 10.
I have a little bit of problem with this one just because I'm looking at the countdown, and I think PCO is the one person that lost his match that made the top 10. If it was me, I think if they're going to put someone who lost their match, it should be Kenny King. Because I think Kenny King was way better than Nick Aldis in his match. I think Kenny King looked amazing. So if I was going to put someone who lost their match on the top 10, it would have been Kenny King for me. That's no disrespect to PCO. He was in a war. But, like Lucha said, PCO seems to find his way in the countdown every week without winning any matches.
All right. So, going back to what Lucha says to why the Coven wasn't on the top 10, but the other tag team, ABC, came in at number 5. At least they made this week's top 10. Getting a big victory over Subculture, who, in my opinion, was super impressive and Impact needs to sign Subculture. But wow, that match was incredible. Probably my favorite match of the night.
I'm glad to see him at number 5. And when you get an Art of Finesse into the fold, it's always going to be a 1-2 sweep. And I'm glad that they deserve to be number 5. I think I personally would have them, I would switch them with the Machine Guns. Just because I don't think that that's disrespect for the Machine Guns to be 5 and Ace and Beta to be number 3. But I think that's probably one of their top wins since they've been a tag team. You could easily argue that was their best match, their best defense from a match as a whole. So I would switch them. But again, number 5, no, nothing to like be disrespected by.
You know what, Burt? I didn't even think of it. Like, you're right. I would switch ABC into Motor City Machine Guns because, like, the fact that what puts Motor City over Trey was the fact, Saban lost to Trey, but Shelly won his shit. But meanwhile, ABC, they won no controversy. So, if anything, they should be over Trey because Trey used a can of spray paint. I don't know what you're not seeing. And half of the Machine Guns took a loss. So, you're right.
The only reason I'm fine with the Machine Guns is because if you look at the people that Alex Shelley beat, those are some top names. You know what I mean? And that was a big win for Alex Shelley. Like, again, when you beat Moose, Kazarian, who's a future Impact Hall of Famer, Yuya, who's on the come up, Eddie Edwards, another future Hall of Famer. It's like, and then who was the other person in that match?
It was Eddie Edwards.
Gresham, who is one of the best wrestlers in the world. That's a marquee win for Shelley. So you can make the argument that that's what put him over the top. But, if we're looking at like Machine Guns are a tag team, one of the members of the tag team lost, but Ace and Bay are a tag team and they won their match. So you know what I mean? It could go either way.
Yeah, I agree. At number 6, Trinity getting her big win over Giselle Shaw And not only that, but she got the big win, and this is her what would you say, pay-per-view debut, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thoughts on her being number 6?
I'm actually surprised she's at number 6. I just knew that she was going to be top 5. Just based off the popularity vote alone, I just knew she was going to be top 5. So for her to be right outside the top 5, that's a little crazy for me as far as the expectations. But like, I wouldn't have put her that high. I couldn't tell you where I put her. I just know I would have expected her to be higher because of that. But
I think that her at number 6 is more too because the 4 champs who are deserve to be ahead of her, and then it'd be mathematically impossible for her to catch the machine gun since they had 2 matches and she only had 1. They're 2 people. So her being at 6 is almost like, you know what I mean? Like that's like where like I think this high she would have ended up this week. Again, on any other week, like any other pay-per-view, if it was like the Machine Guns having 1 match or they were on the show, Trinity probably would be higher. She had a great match. She looked amazing. But I just think it was going to be hard for her to get any higher this week.
I agree with you, Burt. Compared to who's ahead of her, it definitely would have been harder for her to get higher. I couldn't see her any lower than 6. Okay, we're all good.
Can I talk about an honorable mention real quick?
Sure.
Put the camera on me. Give me a star wipe. Give me a star wipe. Give me a good lighting real quick. I've never seen a team organically come together that should be a team as much as Masha and Kelly. Make them a team. That's all I have to say. If you watch that segment, I don't know why they're not a team yet.
Because Masha they beat the shit out of each other.
That's what it's almost like. Sheamus and Cesaro becoming the Bar. They become a team. Expect a beating the crap out of each other. Make them a team.
That's controversial thinking. That's controversial thinking right there.
You know, what does Eric Bischoff say, Datila? You always say it.
Controversy creates cash.
Exactly.
All right, let's take the Burt Tron 5,000.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not Burt.
You had that star wipe though.
Yeah. So at number 2, Deonna Purrazzo, and at number 1, our world champion Steve Macklin. So Deonna Purrazzo getting the big victory over Jordynne Grace, and as we now know, Jordynne Grace can no longer challenge for the world title. So as long as Deonna is champion, and Steve Macklin getting a decisive finish over PCO. Why do you think Steve Macklin's number 1 and Deonna's number 2? Burt, you go first.
Well, let me just say, I think Deonna should be number 1 because before the match they showed Jordan's accolades, and in Impact canon she has more notches on her belt than PCO does. She's a 2-time Knockouts champion. She's a former Impact Tag Team champion. She was the first ever digital media champion. I think I got all those correct. I think she should be number 1. But Macklin did go through a war. He left that match. The winner left more bloody than the challenger. So Macklin deserves that number 1 spot. But for me, I would have put Deonna just because for the reason I just said. Jordan is, again, I've been saying this all, Jordan's a future Impact Hall of Famer. And so when you beat a Hall of Famer in my mind, that just, again, I think that outweighs. But Steve Macklin did go through hell. You know, he was doing his best impression of Steve Austin that night, covered in blood. You know what I mean? So, again, it's not like I have a problem with her being number 2, especially after last week when she was number 9, the disrespect. But, yeah, no, 2's fine. She should have been 1. But her and Macklin, number 1 and 2, the 2 world champions, that's right where they should be.
Now, both world champs, they had one hell of a challenge in front of them defending their straps and Under Siege, and both of them did so successfully. So it's kind of hard to like put one over the other based off of, you know, the fight that they went through. But I guess what does give Steve Macklin the edge is the fact that that man was leaking more than 2008 Lil Wayne. So you kind of had to give it to him in that case. Like that man bled buckets, lots of them. So you got to give a performance like that. You got to give a guy who's willing to go out and damn near die for this shit number one, because that's what a number one is.
And then we had at the end of the match, we had what I like to call almost like a double turn. Scott D'Amore. He still doesn't want to recognize Steve Maclin as the man. It feels like to me. So then Bully Ray had to step in and do what Bully Ray does best: put authority figures through tables. You know what I mean? He had a track record. Yeah, and so I kind of think too, also that win kind of cemented Steve Maclin as like the top heel in the company. So again, yeah, like I would have put Deanna 2, but Steve Maclin number 1 is well deserved.
I was worried about Steve Maclin passing out in the middle of that match because of how much blood he was losing.
For sure.
All right, well, I guess that about wraps things up for us here. Anybody else have anything to say before we get ready to sign out?
Quick turnaround, I believe, against all odds in 2 weeks. So, yeah. Impact's going to, once again, even in a short turnaround, probably give you another no worse than a B+ A- show. That's all they do. You know what I mean? So, again, quick turnaround, but still, if any company can do a pay-per-view in a quick turnaround, it's Impact. So, you damn well best believe that every match is going to be worth watching.
Definitely. I agree. All right. Well, with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified not only when this video drops, but whenever TNAIW releases a new video. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.